All right, so today we'll be considering simultaneous equations. All right, so let's just talk about what simultaneous equations are, um, and then we'll get rolling. Now, simultaneous simply means the same time or happening at the same time. So, simultaneous equations mean equations that are true at the same time for the same value. Okay, so I'll use an example to illustrate that point. Let's look at an equation 2a plus b giving us say 12, and 3a minus b giving us 5. All right, now we can see there are two unknowns or two variables in these two equations. All right, so these two equations will be true at the same time if a and b have the same value for both of them. Okay, now I just created these equations. I need to actually check if two values would be true for both of them. So let's see. Okay, let's see, 3a minus b, okay, 2a plus b. All right, so I'll slightly alter this so that we have equations we can actually work with. Okay, all right, so let's see the different methods of solving simultaneous equations using this example. I would in this video I would start with the elimination method. All right, now like the name implies, elimination means we would be taking out one of the variables to be able to find the second one, and then when we found the second one, we would substitute in the other equation to find the first one that was eliminated. All right, so let's use elimination method. When you're using elimination method, you need to look out for two things. The first one is you need to decide on what you want to eliminate. All right, so let's say for instance we decide to eliminate a. Okay, if we choose to eliminate a, then the next thing we must ensure is that a in both equations has the same coefficient. Okay, so right now we can see that a in equation 1, so let's call this equation 1, and this would be equation 2. We'll see that a in equation 1 has 2 as its coefficient. Okay, and a in equation 2 has 3 as its coefficient. Now they are not the same. What we do to ensure that they're the same is to multiply both equations by the coefficient in the other one. So what that means is I would be multiplying equation 1 by 3, and I'll be multiplying equation 2 by 2. Okay, and that's because of the 2 right here. Okay, so equation 2 will take on the coefficient of a in equation 1, and then then equation 1 will take on 3, the coefficient of a in equation 2. So let's see how that goes. So I would have 1 times 3, and that will give me 3 times 2 would give me 6a. 3 times b will give me 3b, and 3 times 3, okay, will give me 9. All right, now let's do the same. Let's do the same thing for equation 2. And in equation 2, we said we'll be multiplying equation 2 by the coefficient of a in equation 1. So I'm going to go times 2, and I would have again 6a minus 2b equals 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, so now we come up with two new equations. All right, just slight modifications of the first two we started with. So let's focus on these two now. You would see that right now a has the same coefficient, which is what we wanted to achieve. And remember how we started was we decided on what to eliminate. Now, the reason why we chose A, we could have chosen B. In fact, it's even easier to eliminate B from this set of equations than A. We wouldn't have had to go through this route. But the reason why I took this route is because there are actually times that you may not need to find both variables. So you have to be really careful and fast to choose which variable to eliminate so you don't waste time on that question. Now, usually questions, math questions or math exams test both your speed and test your knowledge of the topic. So you might need to choose which one you need to eliminate and not go and eliminate the wrong one and waste time just to find the second one. So if you knew, if for instance a question was interested in B, so there will be no point trying to eliminate B just because it's really easy back here. We'll just eliminate A and find B and then go on to the next question. That would save us time instead of eliminating the one you need to find first. Okay, so let's continue. Now, the next rule about simultaneous equations, solving simultaneous equations, is once you now have the same coefficient in terms of magnitude, you need to ensure that you need to find out if they have the same sign or not. Now, there are two signs in maths, either positive or negative. Okay, that's signs in terms of the symbols that can stand in front of letters or numbers. Okay, so we could have a positive coefficient or a negative coefficient. So right now both of them are positive because there are no signs in front of them. All right, so since they are both positive, the rule goes this way: if the signs are the same, you simply subtract. Okay, so if I had a -6 and a -6 here, I'll do the same thing I'm about to do right now. All right, that would ensure that I can eliminate the coefficients, or eliminate A rather. Okay, so now I can see that they're the same, so I would simply subtract. All right, so, and the subtraction would apply to all of them. All right, so let's, if we say 6a minus 6a, you would have a 0 there, so we've achieved that. Now 3b, okay, minus 2b. Okay, so we have 3b minus 2b. That would give us by those operations, a minus minus will give us a plus. So that would leave us with 3b plus 2b, and that would be 5b. Okay, let me switch. All right. Okay, so that will leave me with 5b right here. okay, and on this side I would have 9 minus 10, okay, and that would be minus 1, okay. So we now have that we have 9 minus 10 being minus 1, so we would have let's see. Okay, so we have minus 1 here. All right, so because of this operation, the next thing we're going to do now is to find what is the value of b. Okay, so let's see if we have everything in place. Okay, so let's go ahead. So we're looking for the value of b now. Okay, right now we have that 5b equals minus 1. So we're going to divide both sides by 5, okay, so that the coefficient in front of b cancels itself below. So we'll now go, therefore b would be minus 1 over 5. All right, so that's the value for b. So let's see how we could go about finding a. Now that we know what b is, we could put the value of b, okay, into any of these equations. All right, but I usually prefer to put it into one of the equations we started with, one of the equations in the question. So let's choose equation 2. All right, any of them would work. So let's see the value of b. Remember, b is equal to minus 5. So let's see how it would play in equation 2. So I would have equation 2 is 3a minus, now instead of b, we would put the value for b in a bracket, and then we would have equals 5. All right, so let's take a look at it again. And this is how it is when we substitute. Now I have a 5 in the denominator here. I have a fraction, so I would simply take care of that fraction by multiplying all the terms by the